I'm a terrible pharmacist. Not every student becomes a great pharmacist, and I'm one of those examples. My story of how I got into the profession, or rather how I fell into it and didn't climb out, starts, I think like most, I never had any interest in pharmacy in high school, but I liked the idea of getting into the medical field. Safe, right? Math and science came naturally to me, and a job in healthcare sounded very safe, a respectable career for one so intelligent, one that wouldn't cause too much trouble for me in the long run. Plus, unlike doctors and nurses, pharmacists don't have to touch blood, butts, or guts. And I still consider that to be one of our profession's upsides. Pharmacy paid well. It allowed people to go part-time and focus on family and other pursuits, or so I thought. And there were plenty of jobs back in 2005, according to articles foretelling the future and the need for more PharmDs in the many years to come. And my parents noddingly approved when I mentioned the idea. Besides, I needed to pick a major anyway. Why not pick a path of least resistance? And so I became a pharmacist. It had never occurred to me that I would be a terrible one. I'm a terrible pharmacist because I don't have the qualities that a typical pharmacist should have. I lack attention to detail, and I hate scouring notes, looking for information. I hate reviewing a patient's chart. It's such a chore rather than a joy. I'm not a serious person. Let's not even get how I approach patient care. I've been told before, you need to speak with your patients with more seriousness, more times than I can count. I'm naturally absent-minded. The simplest things pass by me without noticing it, like taxes or a friend's birthday. I've been told on first impression that I come across as if I don't care about others. On top of that, I hate professionalism. Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not like saying that I hate being respectful. In fact, I think the workplace needs a bit more of that. But I hate buttoned up. There's a checklist for everything, micromanagement, style, and it made the jobs I've had so dull. I like to experiment and I like to try new things, which is a no-no in pharmacy. And finally, I practice pharmacy without much interest in the outcome. I care about my patients, but my job doesn't wake me up in the morning with excitement when I was a pharmacist. Helping people lose weight can be fun, but lowering A1C is about as exciting as a slideshow of someone else's family vacation. Sadly, these character traits are things that I cannot change about me. I'm a terrible pharmacist because I don't like to do clinical pharmacy activities. I don't love using medications to help people solve their problems. In fact, I think the USA has a prescription addiction. Lectures on new drugs bore me to no end, and it's difficult enough to get me to sit still for an hour-long CE. Ugh. I don't like pharmacy conventions. Well, that's not exactly true. I enjoy the events because I like the hallways, I like meeting new people, and I like seeing friends and making new ones. What bores me are the dreadful presentations. It's like transitioning from your favorite game to being forced to sit through an algebra lesson. I don't pore over pharmacy literature, clinical literature, or keep up with the latest and greatest pharmacology. I hardly know newer medicines. And if I'm honest, I don't care to learn more about them. In short, I feel like I'm a fake PharmD. I despise our current healthcare system that rewards the unhealthy. I despise the treatment of community pharmacists. I despise the lack of job opportunities for clinical pharmacists. I despise the fact that many part-time people actually means that you're demoted. And I despise that it's so difficult for pharmacists to become entrepreneurs. Most of all, I hate seeing how industry uses, abuses, burns up, chews up, spits out an otherwise really happy person to becoming miserable. But while I have little interest in practicing the pharmacy profession, I'm passionate about pharmacists. And this company, the Happy PharmD, was born out of my passion for helping pharmacists create new and fulfilling careers. Now, you may be wondering why in the world you should listen to a self-proclaimed terrible pharmacist. But here's what you don't know. Because of my pursuits, I've received well over 30 job offers in the last, couple years. These include traditional jobs, part-time work, pharma consulting roles, academic roles, entrepreneurial consulting gigs, medical writing, independent pharmacy consulting, speaking, consulting work, and all sorts of different kinds of healthcare. I've invested well over $100,000 into career coaching, into job strategies, into attending networking events that has brought in so many opportunities I would have never otherwise been able to do. And because of that, it's helped me pay off my house 27 years early and pay off all of my debt. I've coached now over 3,000 people. And my career development, articles, blogs, it's been on Pharmacy Times, Doc Cafe, Doximity, the Happy PharmD, Pharmacy School HQ, and has been viewed over 5 million times. And while I'll never become a leading expert in any specialized field of pharmacy, I've positioned myself to be an expert on career development in pharmacy. I'm a million times happier than where I was when I was burnt out and miserable, hating what I did as a clinical pharmacist. The work I do now is truly aligned with who I am. And by speaking, teaching, and coaching on subjects I care about, I'm living my best life when I'm helping others reaching their full potential. That's what I hope my book, Indispensable, will do for you. Throughout the book, you're going to discover what you can find fulfilling work, even if it's outside of pharmacy, and your unique ability where your work meets your passions, your interests, your loves, your strengths, and your character. And I want you to be happy. I want you to feel like you're in control of your career. And if you don't think it's possible for you, then this book that I want to give you probably isn't for you. If you believe you can, though, get ready. So, truth be told, what I just told you is the first chapter of my book, I'm a Terrible Pharmacist. I wrote it in 2017. The truth is that when I wrote this book in its first draft, I reached an incredible writer's block. And I couldn't understand why until my friend said, write out what you think about this book. Not what you feel like needs to be in it, but what you're thinking. And that became the first chapter of this book. That I felt unworthy to help pharmacists because of how much pain and suffering that I went through. But I'm so glad I wrote it because it became that first chapter, and this book now has been downloaded almost 8,000 times and read now by that many pharmacists. And this is just the beginning. If you'd like to read the whole book, there'll be a link below in the description that will allow you to download the book after you send me your email, and I'll send it right into your inbox. There'll be a PDF form, but you can also download the audiobook if you want to listen to me while you're commuting in your car ride. It's 2025. I'm still all of those things that I said. But I figured out what makes me happy, engaged, and loving who I am and what I do. I've created my work and my career out of that, out of helping others. And ultimately, that's what we do in our company. We help pharmacists identify what they love and turning that into a career, whether you have direct experience in doing it or not. So if any of that is of interest to you, you're in the right place, and I'm glad to have you along on your journey. So until I see you in the next video, stay curious and take care.